We're back in the room, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once more to the Cayman Show. My guest today, a true friend of mine. He's a bit of a character as well, some might say. He's been around the block a few times. He's met me. Well, we're going to talk about how he met me in just a moment. He is none other than Spam the Man. Spam, welcome to the Cayman Show, sir. It's been a long time. How the devil are you?
Good evening. It's nice to be here. It's taken you a while to track me down and get me in a corner, but here I am.
That's it. Nobody puts Spam in a corner, man. Nobody puts Spam in a corner.
You have. You have.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. Well, if it helps, I'm in one myself as well. But your corner looks funkier than mine, though, if I may say so.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's the press conference room at Cardiff City Stadium. So we're doing it in style tonight.
There we are, man. Broke in, have you?
Yeah, I broke in and I look after the place on
Good stuff.
In the morning. So.
Excellent stuff. Cool. Well, I was thinking, man, I was trying to rack my brain before we come on, and I think I've kind of got it in my head, but do you remember how the hell we met?
Yeah, I attended one of the shows in Cathays, one of the Celtic Wrestling shows. It was one of the first ones, I believe, or towards the start of the shows anyway. I was just in the crowd watching and showed a bit of interest. And I sort of asked how to get hold of you. I think it was Bassie I got hold of first. Because I was interested in perhaps either wrestling or being involved in some way, shape or form. And I think it was Bassie that put me in touch with you, and the rest is history, let's say.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, it was history, all right, wasn't it?
We got some history.
Plenty of history.
Yeah.
So from there, I think what it was, I seem to remember having an email off you saying you're interested in coming on board, possibly training to wrestle, possibly doing security, marshalling, blah, 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 whatever, just helping out with the shows and that. And I think then, do you remember what show it was you came on and where it was when I first said, because obviously I said to you, yeah, come along, we'll meet up, we'll just hook up and, give you something to get on with. It was just like that one. It was just like, oh yeah, come along, we'll give you something. Do you remember where we went first of all? Was it a Cardiff one or a Merthyr one? Do you remember?
It would have been a Merthyr show. I know you invited me to a couple of other shows in Cathays after that for me to get a feel for it, to get to know everyone and see how it was all running and everything like that. But I think I didn't start getting involved until one of the Merthyr shows, one of the studio bar shows.
Right, well, they were eventful. They were as well, weren't they? For people wondering what we're on about, by the way, guys, this is Celtic Wrestling. I used to run Celtic Wrestling back in the day. For those who don't know, and Spam was getting in touch to come on board. So, yeah, what do you remember about them studio bar shows then? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Absolutely crazy. I missed the place. I got to say, I missed the place more than I've ever missed any venue or any place in my life.
Really? That's a big statement, Spam.
True, though, the electricity in the room for those rock and wrestling shows on a Saturday afternoon, and sometimes we do one of those and then go into an evening show as well.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant atmosphere, great people, and I do miss it. It was good times. It was rough times.
It was rough times.
I think a lot of us were in over our heads and our depths a little bit.
Yeah.
I certainly was when all the barriers were coming over and everything. There were some passionate people in that.
There were, man. Well, for you, it was a baptism of fire, really, wasn't it? It was like, all right, here's the guardrails. Hello, Mr. Cayman. My name's Spam. Seen you at the show. I'm interested in getting involved. Yeah, meet me here in the studio bar this time, blah, blah, blah. Brilliant. Here you come. Cool, right. I'm going to run the show. If you just do security of the ring, just keep everyone under control. Great stuff. That was it. And then next thing you know, there were like 400 or 500 people in there, all pissed up. Some were rockers, some were wrestling fans, some were both. You had the system playing absolute hell, almost causing riots.
You had they didn't make my job very easy.
No, they didn't at all either. They didn't today. Tell me about your interactions with the system and how the job was made difficult for you then.
Well, they would just do everything to make it difficult for me, really. If I would ask them to stand
deliberately, just to rib you.
The side, they would try pushing me around and pushing me into the barrier with it up against the crowd and stuff. And they would just do anything, just the complete opposite of what I was asking them to do, really, to keep us all safe.
Brilliant, man. They were good days, man. They were good days. Another thing that I remember, obviously I remember it because my stomach was in knots every time I thought it was going to be a health and safety nightmare. Like, you know where I'm going, don't you? The ring. What's your memories about the first Celtic wrestling ring then?
Well, I knew it was a very special ring. I knew it was from the start. We'd had a conversation, and I knew it was one of the old World of Sport rings. And but I could also see it wasn't in very good condition. It was held together by about 25 coats of paint, I think.
Yeah.
More than anything.
And welds on welds on welds.
And every time it would be used, it would sag more and more in the middle. And then obviously that came to a head the one show, and the spring completely went. The support underneath the spring was buckled. So, I had to be under the ring for one of the matches and actually physically hold it all in place for one of the matches to finish. And previous to that, I'd been welding under there till about 5 minutes before doors open, I think.
That's right.
That happened a couple of times.
Yeah, I seem to remember you welding in there while doors were open as well a couple of times.
Yeah, I think we had to hold back on starting the first match once. For me to finish off underneath there. But,
brilliant days. That was a great ring though, man. It was brilliant. I bought that ring from Andre Baker. I did. Yeah. It was the NWA UK Hammerlock ring for a time. Its history before that, I'm assuming it was one of the old World of Sport rings, or certainly from that era. Yeah. And then, if you remember, I'm not sure if you would, the Transatlantic Wrestling Challenge, where it was like in the late 90s, they had a load of guys from the USA take on a load of guys from the UK. It was just when UK wrestling was starting to take off. And that was the ring that was used for that as well on television. Like, so it was a cool ring. Yeah. A lot of history, a lot of stories. It was special to me. It's also the ring that I made my wrestling debut in.
Okay.
Up in Kent, in a Rumble in Kent. So it was a cool ring, man. It was in a lot better.
Alive now, or is it still
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I did sell it to Johnny Rose, Johnny the Body, for his shows. I'm not sure what happened to it. I know last time I wrestled with Johnny, I wasn't wrestling in that ring, so I don't know. I don't know if he sold it on again or what. I'm not sure, but it's probably out there somewhere because rings last forever. Needed a bit of work.
That one was struggling to last forever.
Yeah, was it? It needed a bit of work.
Big wrestling ring in the sky,
Yeah. But it wasn't that much that was wrong with it. It was just on the posts, from what I remember. The welds were snapping on the posts, so that needed to be redone completely, really, rather than us going over old stuff. But Celtic was always run on a shoestring budget, as you know. Yeah. So sometimes the strings would snap. And B, it was just time and effort of getting it done. However, if the money was there, I would have certainly got it done. But it was just making do with what we had. And it was a learning experience, really. It wasn't ideal and it wasn't practical. And in the end, I think I said, right, enough is enough. This ring's got to go. Thankfully, Bassi bought a ring then as well to hire out and everything. That one didn't last a great deal of time either. I think he sold it on. It was a decent ring, though. But yeah, bottom of the line is it was time that the old Transatlantic Wrestling, the Hammerlock ring, took a walk from Celtic Wrestling because it was becoming a bit of a danger. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I was as well as being like the security, I was the Celtic Wrestling engineer.
That's right.
And not a lot of people know that what I was doing underneath that ring and doing and before these matches. So it's nice to be able to tell this story.
It is, man.
Even some of the wrestlers never knew what was going on.
No, man. I remember one match though. Me and Tommy Dean were wrestling in the ring, and then the ring collapsed just as we were starting wrestling in the ring, or just before we got in or something. I remember Ashley Cox, the referee, saying to me, "The ring's gone, the ring's gone." Oh, he was super stressed. Like, it was like, all right, falls count anyway. So I just said to Tommy Dean, and I said, right, falls count anyway. And fair play to him. He just went, and we just went, we were in each other's ears, right? Do this, do that, do this, do that. We done the same match, but we took the ropes and the ring out of it, So we managed to adapt. It was good. So we managed to make the best of a bad situation, a horrific situation.
Yeah, there was a lot of that in the studio, but anyway, there was a lot of around the venue activity, shall we say.
It was.
And that sort of riled the crowd up as well.
Definitely, they loved it. They wanted to get involved. They felt like they were involved then, didn't they? Sometimes some would try to get involved.
Well, some more than others. There was a couple of familiar faces every show,
Yeah.
and they were good. They brought the atmosphere up a couple of notches.
They did. What did you prefer, studio bar shows or Canton shows?
For the atmosphere, I prefer the studio bar shows. But the Canton shows, I think it was just a bit more room. If the light was better, it was better for the whole production side of the shows. Really, I think.
Yeah.
But, atmosphere-wise, you couldn't beat the studio bar.
It's two different crowds, though, it was, wasn't it? I think in Cardiff, well, they were both student crowds from what I remember, actually, but we did have a lot more kids in Cardiff as well as the students, so it was a bit of a mix.
The students at Merthyr never went to college. That's the difference. On paper, they were students, but I don't think they went to college very often.
No, that's it. They were all tanked up. Good days, though, man. I think the studio bar shows were a bit grungier, a bit dirtier, a bit more. I don't know. It's a bit, dare I say it, a bit more violent and what have you. And then the Canton shows were a bit more, this is our WrestleMania sort of thing,
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah, Celtic Wrestling, we'd often wrap up the shows when we were in Merthyr, wander over to Coolers nightclub where some of the boys, Bassy included, were working on the door and everything.
Yeah.
What's your first memories of our first sort of nights out? What's your first memories of our nights out in Merthyr and our nights out in Coolers?
Well, first of all, let's replace the word often with always, shall we?
Always, yeah. Every time, yeah.
Did, no matter what, no matter how tired you were, I was. We always, that was part of the whole show day, really.
Part of the routine, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like work hard, party hard, and we did party quite hard, didn't we?
We did. Oh yeah. That goes without saying. Yeah, very hard, bit too hard.
They were it was lucky that they knew us and they were very tolerable. Vicky was great.
She was.
And his guys on the door and all that, they were very tolerable with us.
Yeah, they were.
And that was brilliant. For them to be like that with us, it was superb. Like you was like an A-list celebrity up in Merthyr anyway. And you still are.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. I'd say I'm more infamous in Merthyr, I'd say.
Well, there's a bit of both in there, but I mean, they knew you, they knew me, they knew us, they knew what we was all about, and they knew we was no harm, really.
Yeah, that's it. We were just boys being boys, just having a good time, weren't we?
Oh, he's having a good time, all right, yeah.
Do you remember an incident with you, Tyler Brown, and myself, and and we all ended up in the papers?
Yeah, I do remember that incident, yeah.
Go on, then. Tell us what your memories are of that incident. Go on, what happened?
my memory of that incident is not the best because we were quite, all of us were in a little bit of a state.
Yeah, Cloud Cuckoo Land, I'd say.
Cloud Cuckoo Land, yeah. I think my understanding was we were in the studio, not the studio, bar Coolers. Tyler had taken exception to something somebody had said as being like a racist comment or something. We'd sort of said, no, it wasn't like that. People here are not like that. It was just something he thought had been said. And it just escalated from that, really. It was a bit of an argument, a bit of squabbling between us all. And well, it ended up outside. We all had a bit of a shout and a scream at each other, pushing, shoving, and other things happened. And then
it ended up in the papers.
It was captured by somebody, and it was reported to the papers, and it was all good publicity.
Well, no publicity is bad publicity. If you remember rightly, we took that newspaper then to a show with us, and we had Johnny James, who was managing director at the time, read it out. Have you doing press-ups in the ring? Have me doing something else. You put me in a match against someone and all that. So we turned it into a bit of an angle, really. Tyler, I'm not sure if he turned face then or if he was still with the system. If he was still with the system, obviously, in the story, Johnny James wouldn't have done anything to him. But yeah, we used it as an angle. So like we say, no publicity is bad publicity. All good.
Again, the crowd outside in the street, the same crowd that was in the show earlier on.
It probably was.
It was just an extension of the afternoon.
Yeah. A lot of them were, yeah. A lot of them were there. You know, they'd seen us scrapping in the studio bar, then they'd seen us scrapping on the street, you know. But we all just had a kebab after that then anyway, so it was cushy, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone,
it all sorted itself out.
Yeah, happy ending.
Yeah.
So from there, you also used to join me on the road a lot. Yeah, we go to shows here, there, and everywhere. We got to Ireland. I was wrestling on Irish Whip Television on the wrestling channel. You came along with me. You did, I believe, you done security for Irish Whip Wrestling there as well. A bit of marshalling there as well. How was that experience for you? What do you remember about that trip and those shows?
It was really good. You know, it was good. Like every time we'd land over in Dublin, they pick us up, look after us. We stayed in a few of the wrestlers' houses, didn't we? On a few occasions. They were really nice guys. They were pretty much the same as us, really.
Yeah.
You know, and they looked after us. The shows were very similar in the way that they were put together and on the same sort of scale, I'd say. But when the kids and the crowd were shouting and screaming, I never had a clue what they were saying.
Oh, one of them on one show there, I was heel in Ireland when I was the bad guy, right? This one kid, he was shouting at me and all that, so I just went down to him like that, and he just went like that. Back to me right in the bridge of the nose. I was like, you effing see. So I wanted to kill him. He was only about 10, no? But you know when someone butts you right in the bridge of the nose?
Yeah.
I was tapping. Absolutely tapping. I couldn't do nothing. I was just looked at a hideous 6'6" fool.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a very similar crowd.
Yeah.
Its makeup to this, what we were used to in a studio bar. But obviously in the studio bar, we knew those people. You knew what you could do and who you could have a bit of banter with. But obviously, on that occasion, you didn't know. You didn't have a clue what you was letting it say.
No, that's it. And then literally, little kid butted me in the nose. What a twat, like.
I had a couple of kicks as well. I had a couple of kicks off the kids.
Yeah, it gets rough, doesn't it, man?
Yeah, I don't think they like the outsiders.
They're quite welcoming normally, but the heels, they certainly don't like, you know.
Imagine we'd have been English.
Oh, that'd be the end of us, yeah.
They're live.
No, totally. Nights out in Ireland as well. We went on a few nights out. What do you remember? Do you remember we fell out one night in Ireland?
Well, I broke my knuckles. You punched
the wall. Yeah. What was that about? I genuinely don't remember at all.
Right, like it's still.
Is it not? No.
No, it's still there.
We were arguing and bickering about something in one of the pubs.
Well, whenever we argued, it was always over nothing anyway.
Always, I know. Drink nonsense. Probably pissed us all.
Yeah, and it was never any, like everything that happened was done and gone. It was there and then it was gone next morning. Carry on, innit?
I remember we went in a taxi, right? And we were arguing on a street, me and you were. And it was Jen and Vic at the time, yeah? They were looking after us out there. And they were both like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, and then in the end, they stuck me on the one side of the taxi, Jen in the middle, and you on the other. And we were arguing in the taxi over, like Jen, Vic's girlfriend at the time, was in the middle, and we were just arguing among each other. And then we both had to sleep on the floor in the living room then. And I think one of us slept on the mattress on the floor, one of us slept on the settee. I remember about 6 in the morning, and he rolled over to me, okay. What? Are we all right? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we're all right. Cool. Sorry, but yeah, sorry, man. Me too.
Back to sleep.
Back to sleep then, and everything was all right then. You know?
Back to snoring.
That's it, exactly. Funny times, man. But that was Ireland. Do you remember the plane trip on the way home from Ireland and what we saw outside the window as well, down on the sea as well?
Yeah, but nobody believed us.
After 3, we'll say what we saw. 1, 2, 3, monster. Bang on. Yeah. We saw a sea monster to the right side of the airplane, which we were on then. Looking out the window, we were like, what's that? There was something big swimming on top of the sea. Like, it looked like kind of an orangey kind of sort of color from what I remember.
Definitely a monster, mate.
It was 100%. A monster of the deep, but well, not necessarily the deep because it was on the top, but it was a monster. It was alive wherever it was. It was weird. It was bizarre. Describe it, what you saw.
It was, well, I would say something along the lines of the pictures you've seen of the Loch Ness Monster. That type of thing. Like a long, scrawny body, like dipping in the water, parts of it coming out above the water.
Orangey sort of color, would you say?
Like a rusty color, I'd say.
Yeah. That's cool. Like I can be forgiven for calling it orange, and plus it's been about 12 years, 15 years, so forgive me for forgetting the exact tone of color. But yeah, bizarre that was. No one believed us at all. And no one watching this is still going to believe us.
I can't understand why anybody would not believe anything we ever said.
Well, exactly. It was there, though. Do you know what I mean? So
remember all the sponsorship deals?
Yeah. We used to try to get sponsorship deals. Jacobs. Do you remember that? Panda Pop, Jacobs crackers. Tell people what you remember about that. Just tell us a story.
I remember we would try to get these sponsorship deals for obviously to push the Celtic Wrestling name forward, and obviously get free stuff mainly, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it was all about.
You ended up with a couple of caps from a couple of companies, didn't you, and things like that.
No, Meat and Cheese sponsored me, didn't they? And they gave me a load of clothing. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And I remember you turned up with a couple of slabs of Panda Pops the one week.
That's right. Yeah.
Jacob's Cream Crackers.
Jacob's Cream Crackers. We had vouchers off for that. I remember approaching Jacob's Cream Crackers, asking them if they do us a canvas of a cracker. That's right. So it's like we're wrestling on a giant cracker. What the fuck were we thinking back then, man?
We were serious, though. We
were serious. I was dead serious. It was your idea to start with, but you'd plant the seed and then the forest would grow, like,
Yeah. There was another one, a really funny one. I can't remember what it was, but like people would think we're actually joking.
Yeah.
We were actually contacting these companies.
We were, I know. Jacobs especially is the one that sticks in my mind because I actually wanted that canvas mat on the ring, which looked like just a giant cracker. Do you know what I mean? I had it in my head. Like, imagine we'd had that, though. That would have been money, though. That would have been awesome.
Should have just paid an artist to do that.
Yeah, I just pretended we were sponsored by Jacobs. Other cracker companies are also available. Can you name any?
Not as good, are they?
Not as good. No. So, say that we're not getting paid by Jacobs for this, though. So we move on from that.
Anybody, are we?
No, well, sadly not. No, chance of me.
I'm getting paid by Cardiff City till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Epic.
I don't mind doing this interview.
Fantastic stuff. Excellent. Best seats in the house.
Yeah.
So obviously, you wandered with me. I used to go everywhere I went, really. So it was just be, I'm going here. You come in? Yeah, I'll come. I'm going here. Yeah, you come in. And I'm not just talking up the road. Like, we're talking obviously Celtic shows and what have you in Wales.
Yeah.
If I wrestle somewhere in England, I'll come up. No worries. Like I do some bits in Kidderminster, you'd come to them. Ireland, we've just talked about. And then come Amsterdam. Oh, remember that trip?
Oh, yes. I think, did we do Amsterdam once or twice?
Once, I believe we've done Amsterdam.
We've done it once, okay. Well,
yeah, I've only wrestled out there once. I was wrestling in Le Hague, I think it's called.
That's right, yeah.
Which is like an hour or two outside Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Myself, yourself, and Willy Harry went on this trip. This was the first time you met Willy Harry. What were your first impressions of my friend Willy Harry?
He was a nice kid. He was different. That's the only thing I can say. He was different to us. He was a bit more, he came across as being a bit more clean cut and posh. But we soon learned he wasn't clean cut. He might have been posh, but he wasn't clean cut.
Okay. So myself, yourself, and Willy Harry went to Amsterdam. I was wrestling in Le Hague. You guys were coming with me for the ride as well. We didn't book a hotel or nothing, did we? We just went out and chanced it.
We just blagged it, yeah. We just went with it, didn't we?
Yeah, so we landed at the airport, and then the airport leads into like the train station, if I remember rightly.
Central, yeah.
Yeah. And where did we go from there? We were walking down the street with our bags, and someone come out of the hotel and asked us if we want a room, didn't he?
That's right. But I think if I remember rightly, we had to have 2 rooms because they only had the room for one night. So we had one night there, didn't we?
Yeah, and then we went down the bottom end of Amsterdam again the next night. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because we were all in it together, weren't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We wasn't those, were we? We wasn't in it together, were we? And that'll become apparent in a minute as this story rolls on.
Go on.
No, well, you can start and I'll follow. But
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember the room situation.
No, not the room situation. We're gonna move on now to.
Oh, right. I thought you meant the room situation because what I remember was it was like a a triple room, wasn't it?
I only ever remember me and you being in there, though.
No, Willy Harry was there as well. Oh, right. Yeah, Willy Harry had a bed there.
He never stayed there, did he?
Right, okay, no. But he'd stay there in the day then, he would. And remember we nicked all his clothes as well.
Yeah.
And we said, we nicked all his clothes, we're going to chuck him in the canal. Do you remember what he threatened me with then?
Yeah.
What did he say? Do you remember?
No, he said, made a
Right,
about,
that's it. Okay, well, if you do that, that's fine, Carl. You do that, I'll just call the police. Do you remember that?
That's right.
You remember now, dear?
Yeah.
So we robbed all his clothes. We were going to threaten to chuck him in a canal. He said, if you chuck my clothes in the canal, I'm going to call the police. One of my good mates going to call the cops on me. Like, I was never really going to chuck him in the canal anyway. It was just, the fun was in his reaction to the thought of us doing it, wasn't it,
Well, he obviously believed you would.
Yeah, well, I probably would have. But,
to be honest, I believed you was going to do it as well. So
I think it was your idea, actually. You're a bad influence. It's like the fuel and the lighter, yeah?
No.
But yeah, do you remember as well? And it's like, all right, let's go for a beer, shall we, boys? Remember that then? So day one, should we go for a beer? What did Will say to that, Willy Harry?
I can't remember.
Does this jog your memory? Oh, I tell you what, boys, I wouldn't actually. I wouldn't mind a coffee, to be honest.
yeah, that's right. But it wasn't the coffee he was after, was it?
What was he after? Yeah. Do you remember we went in that one place? He said, right, guys, we've got to go here. I said, why have we got to go there? We've got to find this one. I said, why have we got to find this one? Strongest weed in Amsterdam, he said.
Oh, he was a connoisseur, wasn't he?
He was, totally.
He had researched this.
He had
researched this for weeks.
This was his life's dream. It was, totally.
I think he must have done a full walkthrough on Street View on Google. He knew exactly where we were going every time we went somewhere.
Totally. He was like the tour guide for, I didn't mind when in Rome and when in Amsterdam, get involved, like, in it. So, I thought,
if you can't beat them, join them.
Try a few local delicacies, like. But do you remember we went to that one place and we all sat on these cushions and there was this big bong thing with 3 pipes coming out of it, and burning it. And then we went out to there all red-eyed to bits, all giggling. Well, me and you were giggling. Willy Harry was just normal. Yeah. He just looked normal, and we were like,
He wanted another one, didn't he?
Yeah. And then from there, in that state, we had to walk. Well, we didn't have to walk down the red light district, but we'd walk down the red light district to get back that way. So we do like a circular walk back to our hotel. We'd walk back down. They were all dealers, like market traders. Coca, how much cocaine? Coke, ecstasy, speed, how much you want? And it was like, what the hell is this? And then we were walking down there. Went up this one side street down, and you make eye contact with one of the prostitutes in the window. They run it out, literally chasing you down the street as well. It's like, shit, I don't know what to do here. So I just leg it back to the hotel. But it's an eye-opener, isn't it?
Well, didn't we call that a scenic route?
So it was the scenic route, all right, yeah.
We could have took any route, but we take the scenic route.
Well,
back.
when you're there, you've got to wander down, you've got to wander down, have a look and see what it's all about. But by God, it was a certain eye-opener, yeah, big time. It massively was. So you had all the stoner shops and everything, all the coffee shops. You had all these places with, like, they were advertising that they had, like, these A-boards outside advertising the sex shows and that. Then you had the prostitutes in the windows and all that. Yeah. Didn't make eye contact with them, or they will come out and chase you down the street, like. And then you had the market traders then. How much cocaine, ecstasy, speed, Coca. It was like, bloody hell, this is nuts.
You want to pint the Palm?
That's it. Palm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Palm. This is the trip where we discovered Palm. Tell me about Palm, what you remember about it.
Palm was a really nice lager that we found early on on the first afternoon we were there. And the only way to describe it really is it's the same strength as Stella, but it tastes like Carlin. So when it goes down that easy for me and you, that's never going to be a good thing, is it?
No.
So we were like, next, just all afternoon. And you was resting the next day, wasn't you?
I know. How'd that end?
And we had,
do you remember?
No, I don't know. No.
I forgot my gear.
That's right. Yeah, you had to borrow stuff, didn't you?
First time wrestling for Dutch Championship Wrestling. and I had to wrestle in a pair of black shorts.
That's right. You left it all in the hotel.
I left it on the bed. Why did I display it on the bed? I was probably stoned and pissed. The room was probably spinning. I just got to my bag. I left my singlet on the bed. I had my pads. I had my wrist tape. I had my my boots, thank God. And then I was just like, where is it? Oh my God, I'm going to have to wrestle in a pair of underwear. You know, it's like, what am I going to do? But the referee or someone lent me a pair of like denim shorts and I had wrestling. It looked all right. It was passable for those that didn't know me.
Good.
Weren't what I'd normally wrestling, but it was like, oh God.
They didn't know that, did they? They didn't know your normal style, really.
The crowd didn't know, but you know, the crowd
might have. But
yeah, well, the wrestlers did because the wrestlers knew it wasn't that anyway. Because I was running around like headless chicken, saying, "Oh my God, I haven't got my singlet. I haven't got my singlet. What am I gonna do?" And then they're like, "Right, it's going to take you about 2 hours to go to the hotel and back now." It's like, oh, great. Well, I'm fucked then, and I, to point a phrase, I'm knackered.
It would have been Willy Harry's fault, wouldn't it? Let's just.
It was Willy Harry's fault because he got us stoned. So let's just blame Willy Harry. But
black mark.
Yeah, we got through the match. It was a good show as well. I remember the end of the show as well. We were there in the hall. And Willy Harry gone missing. Do you remember where he'd gone?
No, but I knew he did go missing for quite a while.
Well, he found someone out the back who was smoking weed, and he tagged onto them, and he was out the back smoking weed. He come in with these big black rings under his eye. Then it's like, where have you been? He said, "Oh, I've just been out the back. I found this guy. He was skinning up, so I just joined him for a couple of spliffs." It's like. Fantastic.
He was never interested in you wrestling.
No, not at all. Not
just
at all.
Excuse to get out there.
Exactly. If this was in, I don't know, Spain or Cyprus or something, this was going on, he would never have joined me. Do you know what I mean? No. It was the fact it was in Amsterdam and he wanted to go to this place that sold the strongest weed in Amsterdam, possibly Europe.
Probably the world.
And, yeah, probably the world. And by God, he got there, like, you know. But after that show then, managed to get through it after borrowing a pair of shorts, thank the good Lord. We made our way back to probably a pub first somewhere. And then, do you remember in one pub as well? You did this. I was holding a glass with your teeth. Yeah. And then the glass just snapped in half in your mouth.
That was my party trick. I would put a pint in my thing.
And then tip it back.
And then put it down. Yeah. I was lucky there, wasn't I?
Very lucky, yeah. But the woman behind the bar was looking at you like you were stupid as well. I was like, spam! What are you doing, old voice of reason, beer? Look.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But Neely, you could have glassed yourself to bits, man.
She didn't throw us out, though.
She didn't. We had another one, and you had a fresh one, then I think.
Probably spending lots of money.
We spent a lot. We did spend a lot. In fact, we spent out, and we had a credit card between us. I think by the end of it.
Well, you would never have made any money on any of them wrestling trips you've done.
No chance. No chance in hell.
None of them.
Nah, you know, I got paid for it, but I didn't keep the money. You know, it just got absorbed. Yeah. Straight back into the kitty, so to speak.
By addiction.
Hey?
Absorbed by addiction.
Well, yeah, it's not addiction, just party mode, and it's like, right, okay, here we are. Let's
the addiction at the time.
Let's drink some Palm. Yeah, that's all it was.
Palm was lovely, yeah. And
Palm was good. Palm was great.
I found somewhere you can buy it online, so.
Can you? Yeah. We should get some and reunite on Palm. It was a great lager. Guys, if anyone out there knows where we can get Palm, or if Palm are listening and you want to sponsor the Cayman show, let's do that. Let's talk a sponsorship deal. Palm.
Good idea. Should we write them an email?
We should write them an email. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Brilliant. We'll do that after the show. That's fantastic. So that Amsterdam trip, obviously, it was the second hotel then. I think with 3 days we were meant to be there. On day 3 then, we were meant to be going back to the airport. Right. Willy Harry, I think, did he join us to the airport first of all? He did first of all. Yeah, he did first of all. But then the flight was delayed. He said because there was this low mist or something, and the flights were delayed. And then it was like, oh, shit. So we ended up staying 24 hours in an airport with a security guard. The one of them was a complete pile of toss, might I add. Absolute pile of toss. He was going to pull his gun on you at one point as well. Because we checked our bags in, and then we couldn't find our bags, and no one could tell us where our bags were. Then we were looking for them. Eventually, we found them in this random room behind these glass doors. And when we found them, he came up to us, why you leave your bags here? Why you leave your bags here? I was like, we haven't left our bags here. I was trying to explain, and you were like, whoa, 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 firing up at him. And I was like, spam, spam, spam. And he was like, by his gun. And I was like, oh, shit, we're going to get shot by you. By arsehole guard, that's what I call him.
He should have gone off and had a split for Willy Harry for 10 minutes.
He should have. Yeah, but Willy Harry, going back to Willy Harry, he decided when we checked our bags in and then we were told, oh, the flight's cancelled. He decided then, rather than stay with the boys, one for all and all for one, he's going to go try and get a prostitute and some weed and spend another night in Amsterdam and get the next flight the next day.
And he made one of his famous quotes about standing on the side of the canal and jerking off, you remember?
I remember vaguely what that was. I want to get some sort of prostitute, he said. I want her to stick a finger in my ass while I jerk off into the canal. Is that what he said?
The Waterside show, isn't it? After 9.
Is that what it was, though? Yeah.
That's what was said, yeah. But we were doing the right thing because we were going to the airport in the hope that we could sort something out. We could get on another flight or maybe things would change. But Willie wasn't having none of that.
He wasn't.
He just seen the opportunity to go back into the city and carry on some more.
I know.
And we weren't very happy with that decision.
No, we weren't. Well, we didn't have any money either, and he did. You know,
we didn't say, "Oh, here's 50 quid.
No,
you enjoy yourself, boys. I'll see you tomorrow."
That's it.
He just went.
He did. He just went, didn't he? Do you remember our hellacious night at the airport then as well? Wandering around circles and circles and circles. What do we keep seeing? Do you remember?
Yeah, there was a red Ducati on display in the one corner of the airport.
Yeah, we kept getting it all the time. It was like Groundhog Day over and over and over again all throughout the night. We kept bumping at this
until that point.
I did, but I could tell you every nut, every bolt, every crease, every different shade of red on it. Now, you know, it was crazy. We'd studied the hell out of that bike.
Yeah.
I think we had a couple of quid left on us, didn't we? Or something left on a card or something. And we had enough for like 2 pints to last us all night. So we had halves, I think we did. And then we ran out and we had nothing. And eventually we went to go to sleep under some chairs. The sun started coming up then. You fell asleep. You started snoring like a wildebeest. I just started to drop off. Then this guard come up and kicked us. And he was like, it's 6 o'clock. Wake up. It's like, excuse me? Don't people sleep past 6 o'clock? I've been up all fucking night, do you know what I mean? We've been walking around this airport all night, looking for our bags as well. You nearly pulled a gun out on us, you little prick. And here we are, trying to get some sleep after one of the most awful evenings of our lives, probably. It was awful. It was Groundhog Day. It was just surreal. We were trapped, literally trapped in the airport.
When we got back, I felt like I had jet lag.
Yeah, well, and I did, definitely.
We
did, totally lost the day. Plus, the day after we got back, do you remember it was the Steve Carino fight in the studio bar then? Yeah. So we were meant to fly back on the Friday, but we didn't fly back till the Saturday then. And then it was like, right, I think I slept all bloody afternoon by the time we did get back, or all evening, through to the next day, probably through to the afternoon the next day. I remember Steve Carino phoned me then just to sort a few things out, just to make sure everything was in place and that.
Yeah.
I can't remember that conversation, Span. I can't remember. I could have said anything to the man. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh, right, okay. But thankfully, that show went ahead then. I managed to get some sleep in. I did feel jet lag though. You bang on there, absolutely.
Yeah, that was the feeling, and it was worrying really because we all knew how important that show was.
Yeah,
it'd been advertised a lot. We knew a lot of people were going to be there. It was an important one for you.
Big time one for me. It was my biggest opponent to date, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was. We were not in a very good mood, were we? When Willy Harry arrived back at the airport.
Do you remember that? So talk everyone through that. We were stood in the queue like herding sheep in this airport, right? Eventually, right, our flight was 24 hours late. It was. So for 24 hours, we hung around. So say our flight was meant to be 7 o'clock on the Friday night. It wasn't until like 7 o'clock. No, what was it? A morning flight? Was it, or an afternoon?
Mid-morning flight. I think it was
mid-morning flight. Say for argument's sake, 11 o'clock. Say, say 11 o'clock. But it was 11 o'clock the next day then that we finally boarded and got on this plane. Eventually, we were queuing up like sheep for ages and ages and ages, and I mean just not moving anywhere. Then all of a sudden we get to the front. Tell us what happened.
we got close to the front. We could see the plane. We could see the runway, and then you could see somebody pushing people out of the way to come down the steps. And Willy Harry turns up. All right, guys. Amsterdam just wasn't the same without Cayman and Spam.
That's exactly what he said. Tapped us on the shoulder. Amsterdam just wasn't the same without Cayman and Spam. Sent them straight to the back of the queue. Yeah. Disgraced him then as well. We had the front seats, didn't we?
Yeah.
The other front seats opposite were empty. So we disgraced him and made him sit over there. Then we did.
Right, yeah, and we didn't speak to him all the way home.
The bastard.
And that included the plane journey and the ride home in the car after as well.
I don't remember the ride home in the car. I think I was nodding off.
That was a bit frosty.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was brutal.
You couldn't beat them up on the plane because there was too many people about. I always remember you always had the option to do that when we were in the car. I know you didn't. I don't know. Really.
Time had passed then. It became funny by then, I think. You know, it was like, you bastard, you had us. It's like, he didn't do it to have us. He just done it because he was like, oh, well, I'm not staying in the airport. Come with me if you want. But I know you haven't got no money, so tough. I have, so I'm going to get a hostel, a prostitute, and a load of weed. And I don't know if he'd done it all. He certainly done the weed and got a hostel.
I would have thought he would have done the lot.
Well,
he was quite adamant that was his plan.
He was adamant. And he was adamant he was going to jerk off in the canal.
I hope he never did that bit.
I hope he never did that
Maybe
bit. Maybe
there's some CCTV stuff.
If there is, and you're out there, if you could send it to caymanshow69@gmail.com so we can just do a whole other podcast on that. Oh, good memories though, man. Good memories.
Brilliant.
They were. We haven't had a session in a while, have we?
No, we got to be doing one, and
we should be doing one.
I've been very busy. You've been busy, so
yeah.
I mean, and the whole situation.
And we've been locked down as well, so
yeah, that hasn't helped. And we're coming out the other side now, so hopefully we can get back to normal and have a catch up.
Definitely, mate. Well, you know where I am.
Yeah.
You went to download the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to download Pilot.
Yeah, how was it?
3 days up there. It was brilliant. It was nice just to be back to normality.
What was the situation there in terms of social distancing or whatever? Was it none? No. So it was a pilot. Basically, what that means is to test things to see how things are with no social distancing measures in places, eh?
Yeah. Well, everybody done a PCR test 2 days before they went.
Yeah.
And then they did a lateral flow on the day of going in. As long as that was okay, you were allowed in. And everyone did a PCR test 5 days after. So I did mine Friday, and then I get sent back, and the results will be published in the next couple of days.
Awesome stuff.
All the early indications are that it went well. So
I was going to say, is there any feedback on any result from it? Like,
it's only rumors at the moment, but like the people I know in the music business and stuff are getting the feedback that it was a success, and we can expect for things to be returning to normal pretty much soon. So
excellent stuff. Well, fingers and toes, my friend. Fingers and toes.
What we need.
Good stuff. Excellent stuff. So what are you up to at the moment, and anything exciting going on in life in general?
No, not really. I'm tied up. I'm still working on the COVID side of things. I do security down here for that. I'm doing some stuff for myself on the maintenance side of things, and I'm trying to get things in place to start promoting some bands and maybe manage a band. That's all in progress at the moment. I'll be telling you about that. I can't tell you that at the moment.
You can tell me.
No, I can't. No, I really can't.
Oh, but, tell me after this then. All right, then. I'll tell you when
there's a couple of exciting things that in progress and on the horizon. So I'll tell you about when we're off camera like that.
That's childish.
I can't do it. Well, that's life.
I suppose it is. All right, man. Well, anything you want to get in before we wrap up? Any plugs, any shout outs, any acknowledgements at all?
No, just, I just want to reiterate the great time I had with everybody involved with Celtic Wrestling over that period of time, really. I mean, it's something I miss. It's something I hope we will do something related to again at some point soon. I know you're going back and you're having another match.
I'm having another crack at the whip. Yeah, I wasn't done just before lockdown. I'd started training again just to get back in and do it. When you see other people doing it, it's like, I want to do it again, So I was training to do it again, and then lockdown happened, and it was like, right, okay, that's not going to happen now then. but I've been approached by Pro Wrestling Carnage, and I'm going to jump in and have a little go and see where it takes me.
Yeah, Danny Owens, isn't it?
Yeah, he's involved. So
he's in my family. He's in my family tree, isn't he?
Exactly. That's it. Well, no offense if I do get hold of him, I'm going to chuck him around a bit.
I don't blame you. I'd like to see that anyway.
Good man. Welcome to the show.
I'm thinking about it. Yeah.
Saturday, August the 28th. First Mutation, Pro Wrestling Carnage, Pencoed Welfare Hall. Make it so.
You need to get the ibuprofen gel ready for the.
Oh yeah, man! I got it all. And I need to get triple knee supports as well, because they ain't the knees they used to be. Yeah, the day after is going to be the worst, I'm sure. I used to ache anyway, but now it's really going to ache. But
well, you're still in good shape. You're still.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, round.
Not that old, but
old enough.
Older than you should be doing it. But
I'll go with that. Yeah, older than I should be coming back after not doing it for a couple of years. Yeah,
we're going to see the pink and the green and the bright coloured stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's sort of I'm a walking, living gimmick now, and so we're just gonna go here. You're gonna see the Hawaiian shirt. You're gonna see the sunglasses. You're gonna see the headphones. You're gonna see. Nah, of course not.
Okay.
Why would I do that?
That's there for pulling, then, isn't it?
Well, we'll see what happens. If they pull mine, I pull theirs.
Yeah, true.
All good, man. Indeed, sir. Indeed. Right, Spam. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, my good man. I look forward very much to clinking glasses and having not just a drink, but a session again as soon as we can make that happen.
We will do that soon, I promise you.
Give me a shout, make it so. It's been way too long. I know COVID's got in the way for like a year and a half, but it's time we done it again now, especially looking back at just some of these stories that we've highlighted on tonight. It's nice, man. And I think there's more memories that we could make. I don't think we should aim to make the papers again, but
no.
there's stuff we can be doing.
Yeah, okay. I go with that. I'm gonna get up there as soon as I possibly can. I'll get up to Merthyr because I love Merthyr. I love the people of Merthyr, and obviously I love you. And I want to get out and we'll have a couple of drinks and have a laugh.
Top man, that sounds good to me, man. You just let me know where, let me know when, and we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Wicked. Ladies and gentlemen, Spam the man.
Thank you.
Woohoo!